Hi everybody. Today we're going to do a post-workout stretch video. Eli and I just went for a 30-minute brisk walk, so we're already warmed up. So we're not going to do a really long intro. We're just going to do a little stretch sequence that I've been doing with him after we do some off-ice jumps. And you can do this after any workout, after any long warm-up. You can do it especially after you've been jumping, or it's good for after bike ride, anything really. While you're off ice, especially, you should continue to work on your flexibility, and part of that is stretching after you work out. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Yeah, all right. So Eli's going to be facing forward, and as you see, I have my mat facing the other direction, so you can kind of see how things go from two different directions. Okay, so come to the top of your mat. We're going to do a couple quick sun salutations for you to just get the body reset after whatever workout that you did. Okay, so stand tall in Tadasana. Roll the shoulders back. Bring the feet together. Feel the crown of the head lift up. And on an inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to plank. If you wish, you can move forward to Chaturanga and all the way to the mat. Come up into either baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And breathe. Feel your shoulders engage, your arms lengthen. Your head should be in between your arms, if not forward. Feel your glutes engage, your inner thighs engage, your core engage. Walk your feet forward. On an inhale, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Exhale, hands to your sides. I'm going to do two more of those. Inhale, take the arms forward and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to plank. And lower all the way to the mat. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale, hips up and back to downward facing dog. And breathe. Push through the pads of your fingertips. Keep your glutes engaged, your stomach activated, and keep breathing. You can walk, step, or hop your feet forward in between your hands. Look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, take the arms forward and up. Exhale, hands to your sides. We'll do one more. Inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to plank. All the way down to the mat. Hands underneath your shoulders and inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, hips up and back to downward facing dog. And breathe. Try to stay still in this one. This is our third one, so try to stay as still as you can. Keep your shoulders engaging, the inner part of your elbows facing the front of the mat, pushing through your fingertips. Walk, step, or hop your feet forward between your hands and look up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, take the arms forward and up. And exhale, arms to your sides. Good. Now we're going to go into a lunge. So, fan the arms up. And fold forward on an exhale. So inhale, take your right leg back. Hands can stay down around your front foot. And just breathe here for a second. Situate your hips so you feel comfortable. Keep the back of your extended leg engaged. Keep your glutes engaged, squeezing together. Now take your arms all the way forward and up. And breathe. Bring your hands to your knee and gently lower your back knee down. If that's too hard on your knee, you can take a blanket and put it underneath your kneecap. I'm going to get that. My floor is pretty hard. And my knee is feeling kind of sensitive today. So, put this here. My back knee is on the blanket. Hands stay on the front knee. And we're just going to pulse forward slightly. 1, 2, 3. And on the fourth one, let yourself feel the stretch on the front part of your thigh there. And breathe. And then we're going to come up and sit slightly back. Your front leg is going to stay extended. We're going to fold forward over that front foot. Keep your toes pointed for right now, so the whole foot, or the toes and the heel, are both on the ground. Your arch might be lifting up, but try not to fold. If your back is arching like this, don't go all the way forward. We're just trying to feel that bend at the hip crease and get your lower belly on your thigh. If you can't fold forward, that's okay. Now change the placement of the front foot. We have to come back up to do that and let the foot come up. And then we're going to fold forward again. Again, only fold as far as you can without feeling too much stretch. You want to feel a pleasant stretch, not a painful stretch. So straighten the front leg. Lift your toes. Okay, so if you're too far forward, you might need to come up and just feel the stretch on the back of the leg here. Okay, all right. So now, take your hands down, and we're going to pivot around. So Eli's going to face that wall over there, and I'm going to face the camera. Now we're standing up on our right knee, and the left foot is extended out to the side. Okay, so we're going to fan the right arm up and reach over that left side. Feel the juicy stretch in the right side of the body. As tall as you can as you reach. You can look at your hand that's in the air, or you can turn and look at your hand that's extending along the extended leg. And breathe. I prefer to keep my back foot flat, but if you feel like you have more better balance with the toes tucked under, like Eli has, that is totally appropriate. On an inhale, take this arm up and over the other side, plant the hand and reach the other arm up and look up at that hand. And breathe. Keep that left leg extended long. Keep the right hip engaged, helping you lift and push into the right hand. So your right hand to your left hand is as long of a line as you can create. Take your hand to your hip, and with your strong hand and your strong legs, push up. And now we're going to pivot around back to forward, back to the front of the mat. Hands come around the left foot. Take your back toes, push yourself back up into downward facing dog. And now we're going to switch legs. So step the right foot forward in between your hands. Hands come on the knee. Oh, sorry, I forgot our high lunge. Okay, so we got the back toes tucked, and then we're going to come up into a high lunge. Take the arms forward and up. Keep the back leg engaged. Feel like the back of your leg is lifting and pushing up towards the sky. Hands come to your knee. Gently lower the back knee. And we're going to pulse forward. 1, 2, not too much. We don't want to overstretch those hip flexors. And on the 4th one, let's stay leaning, stretching forward so you feel the stretch in that back leg. Wonderful. Now we're going to come up. I'm going to turn around. You do not need to do that. You can just pivot around to your left. Okay? I'm going to turn around so you see my face and not my rear end. Okay? All right. So now we have the right leg extended out, left leg tall, and we're going to take our left arm and fan it up, slide the right arm down the right side. If you're practicing with someone, you can tickle their fingers. That's a good circle we've just made. So you can look at your hand on your extended leg, or you can look up at the arm overhead. Feel that nice juicy stretch in your left side. And keep breathing. Try to take as full of a breath as you were taking before we started this. If your breath seems a little bit labored or it's short, then you might need to back out of the posture a little bit. On an inhale, take this arm up. Take the right arm up and plant the left hand. And reach up. So you're going to feel again a little different stretch on that right side. This time it's the right side. Keep the right fingers engaged. Right hand energetic, like it's reaching up to the ceiling. Strong legs, strong glutes, and breathe. Take the right hand to your hip, and with your strong legs and your strong hand, push into the mat and come up to standing on that knee. Good job. Now we're going to turn back to forward. I'm going to get rid of my blanket here. There you go. Thank you. I'm going to turn to face you. Eli's going to turn to face the long side of the mat. Okay. Put our hands down. We're going to step up 1 foot. If you can come up to standing without using your hands, even better. If not, that's fine. Take a wide stance. And we're going to pretend we're going to take off a really nice sweater. And I'm actually going to take off my shirt because I'm getting a little warm here. So take it off. So we're going to repeat that action. And we're going to open up the arms, lengthen them to the sides. Good. And with our legs fully engaged, bend forward at the hip creases, and take your hands to the mat. Keep the arms right underneath your shoulders to start. Arms should be straight, back should be flat, back should be flat. There you go, good. Now, if that's as far as you can go, that is fine. If you can go a little further, keep your legs engaged, and you can walk your hands back to your feet. You do not want to do that, though, if your back is rounding, okay? So I want you just to go as far as you can while keeping your back flat, okay? We're going to fold forward and breathe. Come back up halfway, hands long, take your hands to your hip, and on an inhale, come up to standing. Heel toe your feet together. Just a little bit, not all the way. Okay, and now we're going to go down again, but we're going to do little side stretches. Okay, so we're going to go, so hands to the mat, bend the right knee, stretch out the inside of the left leg, and then other leg. Stretch. Try to keep both feet flat on the ground. Both feet flat, if you can. Okay, that's okay. We'll keep trying. Switch back and forth. This is a really good stretch for the inner thigh. Bring the hands back in. Parallel the feet. Hands to your hips. And come back up to standing. Good. Now heel toe your feet in again. The center of the mat. Good. Now we're going to do what we call pyramid pose, or in Sanskrit it's Parsvottanasana, which used to be my least favorite pose, but I have really come to like it. So turn to the front of your mat, and we're going to do some, actually let's say facing you. So this is what we call bat wings. This is what we call angel wings. Okay, bat wings, angel wings. So we're going to do bat wings. And if you can take your hands together into reverse prayer, you can do that. If that is too much stretch on your wrists or your forearms or your shoulders, which for me sometimes is, yes, then you can take opposite elbows or opposite wrists, okay? Okay, so now we're going to turn to the front of the mat, okay? Feet are not too far apart, but maybe about 2 feet. And now we're going to turn to the right. Feet are kind of like train track feet, so parallel. You're going to square off your upper body to the short edge of your mat, and we're going to fold forward. Again, only go as far as you can without bending your back. You want to try to be getting the hip crease to fold and the lower part of your belly on the top of your thigh. Take that right hip back, keep your legs engaged, and keep breathing. Okay. On an inhale, come up, and we're going to pivot around to the other side. So square off your shoulders to the short edge of your mat, stand up tall, and fold forward over that left foot. Again, folding at the hip crease, getting a low belly onto your thigh, keeping your legs strong, scissoring that left hip back and the right hip forward, and breathe. On an inhale, come up and release. Stretch out your hands. Yeah, good. We're going to do a couple of arm stretches before we go on to a few more for the legs and the hips, okay? So, take your left arm out in front of you and across the body. Right arm's going to come up underneath, and it's just going to hug. Keep the arm extended, the hands energetic. Should feel a little stretch in the front of the shoulders. And if you can, look out over your left shoulder. Keep your legs active, your feet engaged as we're standing here. And release. And let's do the other arm. So right arm comes across the body, left hand tucks underneath the upper arm bone, and look out over your right shoulder. If you turn your hips towards the edge of your mat, then you get a little more stretch in your shoulder. Just like when we're talking about in skating how we don't want the hips to go with the shoulder if we're trying to twist. We want the hips to stay still as we're feeling that stretch in the shoulder. And release. Good. Let's do one more. Fan the arms up. Clasp your hands. Turn them. I'm going to kneel down so you can see me. And turn the palms up to the sky. Keep the shoulders rolled down your back. And stretch the arms up. In a second, we will. Yeah, so I like to feel this stretch on the triceps. I have really tight triceps, and I love how this feels. And exhale, lower the arms. We're going to do that again, and we're going to switch the lace of our fingers. So fan the arms up, and now face the arms with the opposite finger on top. It might feel like you lost a finger or gained a finger. And breathe. And release. Good. So let's walk ourselves back around towards the front edge of the mat, and we're going to go back into downward facing dog. Briefly. Take the right leg and bring your knee towards your chin and place it down on the mat as close to your hands as you can get. Now, What I like to do with my back foot is I tuck the toes, I lift up, and I slide it down. So I'm trying to get as much of my thigh on the mat as possible. And then I do it again with the top of my foot. So I lengthen that leg in the back. Now, come up to as tall as you can right here. Just going to hang out. Feel that stretch on the outer right hip. And breathe. I also feel a stretch on the front of my left leg. Now we're going to fold forward. You can make a little pillow with your fists or your hands or your forearms. Rest your forehead. And breathe. I'm going to come back up. And you're going to bend the back leg. Take hold of the foot. Only as much as you can. If that's too intense on your quad, then you can just bend the leg and see how that goes. And breathe. Every inhale you take, try to send it to wherever you're feeling that sensation. So I'm feeling it a lot in my right hip and my left quad. So when I take an inhale, imagine I'm directing that breath right to those spots. And release. So hands to the mat, push yourself up to downward facing dog, and we're going to change legs. Before we change, let's pedal at our feet. This is a good opportunity to reset the hips. And now bring the left knee up towards your face, come up on your tiptoes, and place that left shin down as close to the left, close to your hands as possible. Now take the back leg, the back toes, and lengthen as much as you can. Sit up tall. And fold forward, make the pillow with your fists. And keep breathing. Now walk back up. Again, lengthen out that back leg. Bend the leg. If you are on your kneecap on this back foot, you want to re-lengthen that leg. Notice that I am on the bottom of my quadriceps and not on the kneecap. You do not want to be on the kneecap. As you breathe.
That's why it really hurts.
Mm-hmm. So are you on your kneecap?
No.
Okay. So keep lifting up. Squeeze your hips together to help you stay tall. And breathe. Release gently. Now from here, we're just going to turn and sit our bottom down. So we're going to sit the left hip down. You're going to take your right leg, gently open it up so the foot's down. And now we're going to take the other leg, take our hands behind our knee and the other leg open. So our legs are in a V. Now, here I take my hands and I move the flesh out from under my hips so my sits bones are grounded. So my pelvis is kind of tilting forward. Keep your heels engaged, your heels pushing into the mat, your thighs engaged. You want to feel like your legs are shooting out to opposite sides of the room. Keep your spine tall. Keep your legs engaged. Now from here, we're just going to walk our hands forward. Again, you only want to walk as far as you can without starting to round the back. So if your back starts to round, don't go any further. You stay there, Eli. I'm going to show you guys what's like if you feel like this is good, like you want to go further, then you can open up the arms like we talked about, taking off that sweater, fold forward and grab your big toes. But again, you don't want to try to bend the knees. Yeah, that's better. Good. And then if that feels good, then you can fold forward. Keep your legs engaged, toes pointing up to the ceiling, and keep breathing. You don't want to overstretch the back of your leg. So if you keep your quadriceps engaged, it will help those hamstrings release. And we're going to walk ourselves back up. Your hands behind your knees. Bring your feet together and stretch them out long in front of you. Now we're going to fan the arms up. Grow really tall here and fold forward at the hip crease. Again, this is the same thing here. If you don't touch your toes, that's okay. If you stop at your shins, that's fine too. We're trying to get a fold at the hip crease and let the back of the legs release. So in order to do that, you have to engage the front of your legs and engage your your glutes and engage your hip flexors. This right in here, these muscles here, if you tighten them, they can help you fold forward. So if you can get your hands to your big toes, that's good. If you want to put your hands over the top of your foot, that's okay too. If you want to put your hands around the feet, that works as well. And breathe. Now, if that's too much for you, you can bend your knees. You can bend your knees and just focus on getting your low belly to your thighs and feel that stretch. Again, if you overstretch, then the muscle kind of freaks out and goes, yikes, I don't like this. And it actually stops you from lengthening it. What we're trying to do is lengthen the muscle. And the only way to do that is to let it release. So we have to strengthen and tighten the opposite muscle. For most people, that's the case. Yeah. Okay, so walk yourself back up. Awesome. Let's see how much time we got. About 5 minutes left. So, good. So we're going to do another one of my favorites. Eli's going to use my strap, and I'm going to use his belt. Okay. So let's, I'm going to stay here. So actually, no, I'm going to go this way. And I'll flip around. Okay. So lie down on your back. And I'm going to wrap the belt around the foot. Okay. And lengthen out the other one. So we always start with the right foot so you never get confused. Okay. Okay. So keeping that left leg long, like it's like you're in Tadasana and it's pushing against the wall in front of you. Okay. We're going to take our arms here. And I want you to reach up and try to bring your leg towards your nose. And release. Good. Keeping the lengthened, the long leg that's on the ground nice and engaged. I'm going to turn this the leg that's extended to the air slightly out. And we're going to let it gently ease over towards the ground. You don't want to keep a death grip on this strap here. You just want to have a nice gentle grip to help you. It's like kind of like lengthening your arm. Okay. If your leg does not go to the floor, that is fine. If your leg only goes to here, that's fine. You want to keep the legs, try to keep it as straight as possible. And let it go out as far as it'll let you. Keep it engaged. We're not trying to plop it over or be violent with it. Good, now gently bring it back up on an inhale. And switch the hand that's holding the belt. Now here's where I'm going to turn around so you can see me. And I don't actually, because I have a wall behind me. So now, keeping your leg long, we're going to take this leg over to the other side of the body. Good, you should feel a nice stretch in your back here. And if you can, take your right hand and push that upper hip down towards the extended leg. Towards your left leg in this case. And look over your right shoulder. Now I like to lengthen this right arm and look towards my hand. Now we'll bring that foot back up. Okay. And I'm going to turn around back towards my mat. Okay. And we'll release the belt and let the foot lower to the ground. Good. Now we're going to switch legs. Okay. So lengthen out your right leg. Lift your left leg towards the ceiling. And I have to turn around again.
I don't know.
Lengthen out your right leg. I'm going to hit the wall. Small room, 2 people.
I don't know.
Okay, so again, we're going to reach our chest towards our knee. Turn the leg out slightly and let it lower to the ground. This happens in all kinds of yoga classes. The foot comes near your partner's face, and you just have to close your eyes and laugh about it. So keep the right leg long. Feel that stretch in the top of the right quad, in the hip flexors, and that inner thigh of the left foot. Good. Again, if that doesn't come all the way down, it's fine. It only has to go as far as you can. Okay, there's Eli's foot by my face. All right, now let's lift the foot up, gently using the strength of your inner thigh. Now switch hands. Switch hands, and we're going to take the foot over to the opposite side. So we're stretching the low back here. Again, extend that left hip towards the extended leg. Open up the left arm and look towards your left hand if that feels good on your neck. If that is too much strain, just keep your head looking up at the ceiling, and that's fine. And breathe. Good. Now bring the leg back up. You can release the strap. Take your foot on the ground and reset your hips. Okay. This is where I'm going to turn again and go back to my mat. And we are getting ready to do our very last exercise, our very last stretch. If you feel like some of these are repetitive, you can skip some. This is just, I'm giving you some of my favorite post-workout stretches. Also, some of the stretches that I feel like are the best basic stretches for skaters to do every day.
Yes.
Right? These are really, really good for your leg flexibility, for your low back. If you are trying to get to the next level and do flexibility for other positions, like for different spin positions, then you're going to want a whole different series of stretches. And I can give you some videos for those over the next few weeks, highlighting specific poses and tricks for that. But for now, right. So for right now, we're going to do our last post-workout stretch for this sequence. And yeah, so this one is a simple figure 4 stretch. So let's lay down on our backs. Okay. And again, anytime you come down on your back, if you have a ponytail, you might have to readjust it. And you're going to take your left foot, put it on top of your right knee. We're going to take our hands and we're going to, this is sometimes also called thread the needle. So you take your hands through that hole there and grab the back of your thigh. Keep both feet engaged. So they're flexed with the toes kind of pointing back towards the ankle. Keep the hips engaged. Good. Now right here, we're going to release that and let your hips gently fall over towards the right side. This is where I like to take my right hand and put it on my left hip. You don't want to push too hard. We're just trying to feel a little bit of a twist in the low back and in that outer hip. For some people, that feels really good. For others, not so much. So I like to turn my head and look at my left hand. That does not feel good for you, do not turn your head. Now we're going to take our knees back up to the ceiling, and we're going to uncross our legs, take the right foot to the left knee. Hands are going to thread through that hole and grab around the back of your left hamstring. And keep the resistance here. You're going to keep pushing your leg into your hand, but keep pulling back on your leg with your hand. And while you do that, keep your legs engaged. Just squeeze everywhere. Squeeze the inner thigh, squeeze your glute, squeeze your hamstring. Again, we're trying to release that outer hip. And the only way to do that is to activate the opposite muscle. Good. Now we're going to gently release that and put your foot on the ground and let your knees fall over to the left. And feel that stretch on the outer hip and the low back. Open up the right arm. If it feels good for your neck, you can turn your head to your right hand. want to look back up at the ceiling. Hands in the hip. Take the knees to the ceiling. Readjust your hips. Uncross. Now just for fun, cross your legs, take your hands to your feet, and rock up.
Good first try.
All right, awesome. Great job, everybody. That is, like I said, a great post-workout stretch. I know sometimes after workout, we're really tempted to cut that short. And I know I am just as guilty. When I used to run, I wanted it to be done in like 10 minutes max, but you really need to lengthen it out a little bit. Some of those stretches you can skip. Pick the ones you like the best. Try the video. Then you can do the ones you like or not. But I would recommend doing as many of them as possible. We have all kinds of time now that we're not on the ice. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay home.